All right, this is Not Norman, a goldfish story. It's illustrated by Noah Z. Jones. And I'm actually having a hard time seeing the author's name. So if I go inside to the title page, it's the first page on the inside that has the title, the author, and the illustrator on it. And it says Kelly Bennett. So now I know who wrote this book. Let's see. On the back, it gives me a little taste, a little summary of it. It says, Norman the goldfish wasn't what this little boy had in mind. He wanted a different kind of pet, one that could run and catch or chase strings and climb trees, a soft furry pet to sleep on his bed at night. Not Norman. But when he tries to trade Norman for a good pet, things don't go as he planned. Could it be that Norman is a better pet than he thought? Let's read Not Norman, a goldfish story. Oh, the little fish on the page. That's fun. Not Norman, a goldfish story. When I got Norman, I didn't want to keep him. I wanted a different kind of pet. Not Norman. Oh, look at his face. Does not look pleased. Look at Mom and Dad's faces. I think they look pleased. Oh, and the book. It's called Your Fish and You. How fun. Guess it was his birthday. See cake and balloons and presents. I wanted a pet who could run and catch, or one who could climb trees and chase strings, a soft, furry pet to sleep on my bed at night. Not Norman. All Norman does is swim around and 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 around. This is it, Norman, I decide. I'm trading you for a good pet. Norman doesn't move. Not even a fin twitches. How can I trade him like this? No one will want a sorry-looking fish in a gunky bowl. When I drop Norman into his nice clean bowl, he starts dipping and flipping, flapping his fins around. He looks so goofy that I have to laugh. Don't think that just because you made me laugh, I'm going to keep you, I tell him. Tomorrow you're out of here. Norman blows a stream of bubbles. In his donkey fish bowl before he cleaned it. And then here's after he cleaned it. The next day, I take Norman to school with me. If I talk him up real good during show and tell, maybe someone will want him. On the way there, we see my friend Austin. Austin has a real cool dog and 7 puppies. Want to swap one of your pups for Norman? I ask. Who's Norman? Asks Austin. My goldfish, I say. By the time I rescue Norman, half his water is gone. Rescue Norman? Oh, he had to rescue him from the thirsty dogs. Says half his water is gone. There's his friend. That must be Austin. The text says, on the way there, we see my friend Austin. That must be Austin. I'm sorry, I tell Norman when we get to school. I'm really sorry. He just stares at me all googly-eyed. Finally, it's my turn to show and tell. Just as I start to talk about the goldfish, Emily shouts, Jenny's gone! Who let my snake loose? Ooh, what's Jenny? Jenny must be the missing snake. There's Norman looking at him all googly-eyed. Does anyone hear the story of how I got Norman? Does anyone even ask to hold his bowl? No. They're all jumping and screaming and crashing the snake. Oh, I'm sorry. I gotta reread that. I messed it up. They're all jumping and screaming and chasing the snake. Not Norman. He's looking right at me. Thanks for listening, I tell him. Aw. He knew that Norman was listening because his eyes were on him. That showed him respect and that he really cared about what he had to say. And I can tell that it made him feel good when he was paying attention to the things he had to say. It was very considerate of Norman. But it looks to me like everyone was kind of nervous about the snake. That's probably why they weren't looking. Especially the teacher. Look at the teacher. That's probably what I would do. That's what Miss Haynes would do. That afternoon, we go to my music lesson. As soon as it's over, I'm taking Norman back to the pet store. I take out my tuba and begin to play. Bum 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 boo 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 boo. I glance over at Norman. He is swaying back and forth. Glug glug, glug glug glug, he mouths. Look, Norman's singing, I say. Pay attention, snaps the maestro, and try to play the proper notes. Oh, Maestro wasn't very impressed with Norman's singing. He cared more about the little boy doing what he was supposed to do. But the little boy was impressed with Norman. I think he's starting to like him. Maestro makes me stay for extra practice. By the time my lesson is over, it's too late to go to the pet store. Don't think that just because you like my music, I'm going to keep you, I tell Norman. He glugs. Look. It is dark. He must have had to stay for quite a while for extra practice. Maestro didn't think he was focused or on task. That night, I'm so sound asleep when screech, screech. Oh, what's that noise? Scratch, scratch, screech. Yucks, there's something at the window. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spot. Ooh, he's scared. What does he get out of the corner of his eye? Norman! He isn't scared. He isn't swimming around in circles either. He glugs and gives me a little wave. I'm not alone. Together, Norman and I slide open the curtains. It was just a broken tree branch. Thanks for watching out for me, Norman. Oh, he felt like he had someone with him, making him feel safe. He did not feel like he was alone. On Saturday, I take Norman to the pet store, just like I said I would. I look at the cats and dogs and snakes and birds. I look at the hamsters and mice and lizards too. They all look like good pets, but they are not Norman. All those other pets were so awesome, but none of them were Norman. When I got Norman, I wasn't sure I wanted to keep him. But now, even if I could pick any pet in the whole world, I wouldn't trade him. Not Norman. Look, he's playing the tuba for him. At first, it seemed like he didn't like that. In fact, at first, he didn't like Norman. But after a while, he found out that wasn't so bad. That was Not Norman, a Goldfish story by Kelly Bennett and Noah Z. Jones.